prime and prim condition.
Thank you. That's very reassuring coming from the Finance Minister. Let me move on to the next question around the budget, and this is to do with the economy. Is the current recovery due to pent-up demand, or do you think that this will be sustained?
I think it will be sustained because the pent-up demand argument was very right nearly 4-5 quarters ago, when post the Omicron we were coming back. People thought 2022 festival season was driven by revenge shopping, yes, pent-up demand and so on. But that pent-up demand won't stretch itself for more than one season, if you want to take it that way. 2022 festival season was in its normal course, and there was no exaggeration in the markets or even in consumption. So I think it has now reached a level where it will sustain itself.
No, I asked this question also because the rural demand is still tepid. Looking at the commentary coming from FMCG companies in India. Also, if we look at the work under the Manrega scheme and the and FMCG results, I asked this question in this context as well. Can aggregate demand be more robust?
I'm sure you observe the Indian economy as well, yes, in all its great detail. Demand doesn't remain stable, and then it doesn't remain only going upward. It does come down sometimes and does go up some other times. In fact, at that time, during the pandemic, even during the lockdown, most of us felt the rural demand is very high, and what could explain it? We thought that the farm outputs were very good, and as a result they were having quite a few money in their hand, and therefore they were able to sustain it. So that happens soon after the harvest. But rural demand even today, in terms of the people who are in the farm equipment manufacturing areas, are quite comfortable with what is going on in the rural market. It's not as if demand has affected them. So people are purchasing equipments to do their tilling or farming activities. That's one. I'm not just talking about tractors, but even the other equipments which go in. One. And second, also rural demand, which is FMCG related or your daily consumption related items. Your GST revenues, whilst I don't want to say that revenue GST going up is purely on rural, it may be urban and rural, but it means that it cannot be maintaining a sustained level if one of the segments, rural or urban, really fall down drastically. So I don't think it's worrisome, if at all, any drop.
The RBI governor says that the worst of inflation is behind us. So can the RBI then take a more relaxed view of monitoring, tightening and support growth in the coming weeks and months?
Well, I realize that if I do comment, it will look as if I'm guiding the RBI or anything like that.
No, broadly speaking.
But I suppose, yes, the way in which inflation has come down, both by RBI's action and by the government's action, and the government's action has been steady and at it for some time. So I expect, since the fall in the inflation, it doesn't seem to be just a momentary or a 1 month affair. It should sustain itself in the process of coming down, and therefore they should, and you're right, therefore there shouldn't be that much pressure on the central bank to keep the pace of increasing the rates. But the MPC will take a call.
Of course. Any concern that you feel is there because of the twin deficit problems?
It's not as severe as before.
Yes.
Yes, when exports come down, you're going to have the current account deficit. But it's also now suddenly going up as well as it was before, a couple of months ago, one. And second is also the import. Imports also keep slightly going up sometimes, but it's also coming down. If these two factors are primarily the ones which we have to concern ourselves with, monthly fluctuations I say.
Yes.
Fluctuations should not worry us, but if every month there is a steady decline and there doesn't seem to be a sign of increase or coming upward, uptick as you would say, if there is no chance of an uptick predicted in the next few months,